Hi, Karen. Happy late January. It's wonderful to see you today.
Ooh, Katie, wonderful to see you as always. Happy, what the fuck day is it? January.
Seriously, January. I am really like kind of pushing off the winter doldrums right now, even though it has been -5 for a few days and real rough here. But at the same time, like I actually feel okay. It hasn't gotten to me yet, which is kind of nice. It also like I'm realizing as I'm saying this to you that you're not most likely in snow because you're in Indy, like,
Oh,
right? Or are you?
oh yeah, no, I'm in snow.
Oh, you are? Oh,
Oh yeah. I mean, not your 6 inches of ice pack snow, like some kind of weird tundra shit. No, no. I mean, there's snow on the ground. It's the kind of snow that's pretty for the first 5 minutes, and now it's just like lingering and gross. But yeah, we have
mm,
snow.
slushy. Yeah.
Slushy, and then it freezes over again. Yeah. It's I feel like the high today. Well, I'll just say the last time I looked, it was 9 degrees here.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
wait, what? Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's cold everywhere. I mean, Indy, I feel like usually is warmer than Chicago, but like my colleagues in Florida are cold. It's cold in DC. It's cold in Texas. Like, I don't
That's
know what
true.
this band of like Arctic nonsense looks like, but it's like very big.
We are all in the frozen tundra vibes right now. Like this
My
is
God.
seriously, I talked to my mom yesterday and she said it was 5 degrees. So like I guess we're all in the same boat. Like that's ugh.
I just have to complain. I just have to be a Midwesterner and complain about this for a second, and then I'm done. That I spent last week in St. Pete, Florida.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, Florida, DeSantis, whatever. But of course, St. Pete is lovely and weird and artsy. And there was this like freak heat spell. I mean, it's warm in Florida anyway, but when I left the Tampa airport on Friday, it was almost 80 degrees. And then I
What?
landed in Chicago. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was almost 80. It was so warm outside. It was freaky. Like, oh, because it had been in like 50s, the 60s. We had a tornado. But then Friday, freakishly warm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, freakishly is the key term there, I think. It's like this is scary. I Yeah, global warming, climate change, all of it like makes me so sad. And I mean, that's just I can't even say it like that. Like that's just beyond. It's beyond sadness. It's just like
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Moment of silence for global warming. Yes, like just
Polar bears.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. But yes, we haven't seen each other for a few weeks,
Yeah, that's
and it's
right.
wonderful to see you again. I have gotten a lot of great feedback on Tanya's episode from friends. So, Tanya, if you're listening after your sunrise hot tub, I hope that you know that everyone loves you, including us. Thank you again.
Thank you again. And oh my God, I'm so jealous of the hot tub, especially now. I mean, I feel like you and I both freaked out as soon as she said it, but now I'm like, oh, yeah.
I would definitely take her
My
up on the
God.
offer to join her
Yeah.
to watch the sunrise in the hot tub. Yeah, that sounds lovely. Also, it probably isn't that cold in Santa Barbara. I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather, but yeah, I'm doubting it's 5 or 9.
She doesn't have frost inside her window. Like Americano Angel just sent a photo of like the like, yeah, frost inside the kitchen window.
Oh, that's the worst. I know that
Okay.
so well. That's the worst.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I am pushing off, but I don't think I can push it off much longer. Like putting that plastic over your window. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
yeah.
And then you tape it and then you hair dry it and like I mean, I the past couple of years every single time this has happened, like every single time we put these up on our windows downstairs, Tyler and I get in a fight. Like
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
you're not cutting it right. Put the tape here. No, use the thing. And he was just like, this isn't fun for me. I need to leave. And so then now that's why we're kind of pushing it off. He's like, I fucking hate that stuff. And I was like, fair, but also we're cold. Like we need to, so maybe I'll do it myself, but it's kind of hard to do by yourself. So
It is. And I will admit I haven't done it since I lived in a very, 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 very old building. And I will admit I maybe didn't do this exactly the way you were supposed to, but it kept ballooning out like a parachute. Like
Oh yeah.
though, yeah, there was so much like wind coming in through the windows that like, yeah, it was just, oh my God, it's
That's
horrible.
so sad because
It's
you had that much like seeping cold air
oh
into your
yeah.
house.
Yeah. It just, and I, like I said, I didn't seal it the way I should have, but still.
Still, I mean, I think you need a PhD in physics to know how to seal that shit. Like that is, those are not really made very well. Also, they're $3 at CVS, so there's something to that effect. Like there might be a clue.
Exactly. Okay. Before we move on to our topic, I will just say this life changing buy for me smart space heaters
Ooh, what's a smart space heater?
that like you can control from your phone and that you can control on Google. Oh, I shouldn't have said the G word.
Wait, really? Okay, wait.
Yeah.
I would love to know about this because I only have the space heaters that will burn down your house.
No
So,
good.
like, I'm
Oh
pretty
my
sure,
God.
I'm pretty sure I need to upgrade to smart space heaters. Ooh,
The brand is Govee, I think, Govee. I probably found them on some like wire cutter list. But yeah, no, like our upstairs bathroom is freezing. And before I know I have to go to the bathroom, I will sit here on my phone and turn on the heater for like
wow.
10 minutes. Yeah. Or I can have the G word do it. Ugh, game
This is
changer.
really, and it just heats the whole room.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I know. I love
Hmm.
them.
Okay. I'm gonna have to tell my sister about this too because she may be moving into a place that has one room with no heat. And I'm like, that's yeah. So
Oh, okay.
okay. That's interesting. I mean, I guess why not, right? Like you should be able to control everything on your phone. So like that would I never think about that kind of stuff. Like we have one of those Nest thermostat things that came with our house,
Yes.
and we have neither of us have hooked it up to our phone, which there is no excuse for that because we could be out of the house and like turn it down. Like no, we're like, what, how does this Wi-Fi, what, like it's just, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're really showing our Gen X. Actually, that's not even true. We're just like even my dad who is a boomer is probably yelling at the podcast right now like, you can do it, you can do it, you have an app, you have a phone. No, I mean, you're right, Dad, I know.
I And I probably, I'm wondering how much my decision to lean into the tech is influenced by the millennial in my house who's just like,
Mm,
no, everything needs to be smart. Like, what are we doing? How are
it's
we
so
living our
true.
lives? Yeah.
How are we living our lives? So true. Okay, so I'm so excited about this topic because I do think that this could be like 4 podcasts, and maybe it will be, who knows. But I love kicking it off with this one, Karen. And yeah, go ahead. I am actually really excited about this because I don't think we've talked
Oh
about
my
this
gosh.
exactly before.
I don't think we have either. Though who knows, 160 episodes and who knows. So
Mm-hmm.
this was from another insight from my brilliant colleague slash coach. Um, I was describing a very emotional reaction to a meeting I had at work. And she said, well, your emotion is your intuition. It is giving you a message. And it was like this light bulb, this like, what moment? And I immediately thought of you and Googled and found this Harvard Business Review article about intuition and the importance of intuition. And I can't wait to talk about it with you.
Me too. I love this so much. When you texted me, emotion is intuition. Like even just those 3 words are so resonant for me. It's like that is, I mean, yeah, it's so resonant for me, and it's also somewhat triggering is the wrong word, but just like I think that for me, and I wonder if others can relate to this, is like there are so many instances where I have had emotion about something and I have either been gaslit or gaslit myself to say, like, no, 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 no one else is feeling this way. So why am I feeling this way? Or, or no one else is at least expressing that they are, or, like I shouldn't think this way. Oh no, that person's actually really nice. Like, oh, they're trying their hardest. Like, yeah,
Mm-mm.
like,
Ugh. Yes, all
oof.
of it. All of it. Yes. I mean, that we definitely have talked about how like we get socialized to suppress our feelings,
Yes.
which are really very important and giving us a lot of information.
Yes. But I've never heard of it as emotion is intuition because I think like it's like intuition is this buzzword of like, oh, well, what does your intuition say? You don't always know. Like, I think that's the thing. It's like, it's hard to always access intuition. And there definitely are times that I can identify in my life that I have accessed intuition and it's very, very loud. And it's like, hey, you're going to listen no matter what. Like,
Yes.
hey, hey, hey. But sometimes intuition is like a quieter voice that like ends up being, a feeling that I have that I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I don't think I've made the connection between the two until now.
Ooh, that's a really good point. Because I have been thinking of it as like this very immediate thing because that was the context of the conversation that she and I had. But you're right. Other times you just got to let it surface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also like
Mhm.
when you do have an emotion, I mean, I often will have emotions and I'll be like, why am I feeling this way? Like legitimately, like why am I feel like I don't know sometimes. And it's just like, ugh, I don't want to feel this way
Yeah.
usually. That's usually the answer.
Yes. Ooh, okay. Insights from this article. And
Yes.
if we decide to post this on YouTube and you see us, we are looking at screens right now. We apologize,
Yes.
slash, we don't.
Slash no apologies. Yes. Ooh, okay, yeah, Karen. I don't even know where to start. This article, everybody, we're going to be linking in the show notes, and it's called "How to Stop Overthinking and Start Trusting Your Gut." It's on the Harvard Business Review site, and it's incredible.
I love it. It's by a social worker, a licensed master social worker. I'd never heard that before. I've seen LCSW, but she's an LMSW.
Oh.
And this is one of the first things that struck me. And I'm quoting now: despite popular belief, there's a deep neurological basis for intuition. Scientists call the stomach the second brain for a reason. It's like, damn. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. That's so real. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just interesting to like later in that paragraph, like it says that there are more neurons in the stomach than are found in the spinal cord which points to the gut's incredible processing abilities. I mean, it's just interesting like like when you approach a decision intuitively, your brain works in tandem with your gut to quickly assess all of your memories, past learnings, personal needs, and preferences, and then makes the wisest decision given the context. Shit.
Right? Oh my gosh. Your gut, like literally your gut. And how many times do you like get a sinking feeling or get a sick feeling or get the butterflies or whatever? Like, and I feel like we just don't pay attention to that the way we should, I guess. I don't want to say should, but I feel like I just don't feel like I take that information and use it for something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
realizing.
But it's there. Like it's definitely
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also wonder like if anyone else feels this way, like I think that every time I've trusted my intuition, even if it's been a hard decision that I had to make because of my intuition, it's been right. It's been good for me. Like to it's like it really has I don't think ever really steered me wrong if I'm genuinely honest with myself.
Yes. Even though it is usually the thing that sucks.
Oh, totally. Totally. It like it yeah, actually this exact conversation came up the other day when somehow my a couple of our friends we were talking about losing money like in a really frustrating way.
Mm.
And as if losing money in any other way is not frustrating, but basically what happened is like many years ago, Tyler and I were looking at an apartment in San Francisco. Also, I just put a thumbs up and that
I know.
didn't
I love it. You have gestures turned on. It's very cute.
how do I get my gestures off? I don't even know how to do that. Like
I
that's
hope it stays.
recognize hand gestures. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I know people who are listening to this audio are like, "What?" Anyway, so basically
What?
so basically, what happened was we went to this apartment, we put down a deposit, and like I had a weird feeling. I just had a weird feeling.
Mm.
And we walked through it and I was like, I I just it was a good price and it was a good neighborhood in San Francisco. And it was like on paper, it was actually pretty great. And I remember coming back to our place we were living at the time before we moved, and I told Tyler, I was like, I don't feel right. Like it was like the intuition was screaming, and I was kind of mad. I think that's the emotion that was attached. Somehow like my
Mm.
body was like, you need to feel something right now to know that your intuition is like speaking pretty loudly. And I was having like bad visions of things happening in that like space. Like, I mean, I was like, it, I was really strong on it. And I told Tyler, and he was like, well, we just gave the guy our security deposit. Like, maybe we can
Oh
get it
shit.
back. And I was like, yeah. And oh, P.S., it was $3,300 a
Oh
security
shit.
deposit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's
Oh,
a number that I'll
ouch.
never forget. And so, so
Mm,
basically, long story longer, he's like, are you sure? And he's like, I think I could live there. And I was like, I'm not living there. I'm like,
wow.
I was like, I will not do this. And he was like, okay. And so, it wasn't a fight between us, but it was just like, I was like, I'm absolute. And so we ended up calling the guy. He, of course, had cashed the check and then changed his number. And then he ended up ghosting us and we like tried to find him and like he didn't exist.
God.
And so, like, it
What?
most likely would have been a horrible situation for us if we had actually taken that apartment. But like, I don't have as much anger about losing that money now, but it
Oh,
wouldn't be so bad to have an extra $3,300 just sitting around. But
yes.
it's been a solid, I mean, I don't even know. It's probably been almost 10 years since then. So anyway, it's just interesting though, like
Ouch.
when your intuition, it doesn't like it's not often like easily explainable. It's just a feeling. It's like it is a gut
Yes.
feeling. It is from your gut.
1,000%. And because it's that, because it's not rational a lot of the times, I do feel like we dismiss it.
Yes.
And like, I think the word she uses in the article is mystical, right? It's got this mysticism attached to it. It's just like, no, it is a physical thing that is happening. Your gut is processing information and it is trying to send you a message. And
Totally.
yeah,
I also
damn, I'm
think,
so glad you didn't live there.
oh, thanks, me too. I mean, I'm so glad we didn't live there. I mean, I'm thrilled about it. Even though we lost, I mean, losing the 3,300, it was probably nothing compared to the headaches that we would have experienced and that kind of stuff. But I
Yes.
also think that like there are major moments I think in our lives that we think our intuition is like, hey, our intuition like piped up, but I actually don't think that's entirely accurate. Like I actually
Mm.
think our intuition is talking to us at all times. I really do.
Ooh. Ooh, I love that.
I don't think it's just when we're making big decisions. Yes, of course, it matters when we're making big decisions, but it's like how we walk through the world physically also. Like I've definitely had moments where I have been
Mm.
walking down a road and been like, yeah, I'm going to turn left. I'm not going to turn right or like, I don't know what would have happened if I turned right or whatever, but it's like you just if you really trust
Yeah.
yourself, like you're so wise. It's like what we talked about before we hit record. Like we're so fucking smart and we just have to trust that.
It's very true. Oh my gosh. The most ridiculous story popped into my head. As a quick detour, I think I've told this story before. Maybe I was walking down the street in Chicago, North Clark Street, just north of Devon. If you were a Chicago dweller, I very stupidly was walking home from something like very late at night.
Ooh.
I should not have been, right? And I'm walking, and so suddenly there are two men walking toward me, and I'm like, okay.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Okay, spoiler alert, nothing bad happens to me. But so I'm walking
Thank
right,
God.
and like my intuition is screaming at me like, "You dumb bitch! Why didn't you get a lift?" Like, right, all these things. And we're walking, and then something appears on the sidewalk next to us, and these two men start screaming like little girls. And it turns out it was a possum, which is scary as fuck. I mean, they're so disgusting. And these boys were coming from one of the gay clubs. I'm not trying to stereotype them, but they were two queens who were just like, and I was like, I was scared of y'all. Look at you. I mean, they're like hitting each other, just like screaming about this possum in the street. And I was like, I mean, that's actually really funny.
Oh my God, this makes me so happy that you were okay.
Oh my God. I just was like, I'm so glad I didn't cross the street to miss this moment because that shit's hilarious. But I should have
You
crossed the
think?
street slash gotten a cab. I mean, I think after that, I want to say I did get a cab after that, or I did get on the bus, or like I did not continue to walk home another mile or whatever.
Totally. Totally. But that is really funny. I mean, that's like, but also maybe your intuition was actually protecting you that these guys were not going to hurt you at all, like in that moment at least.
Yes. No, I mean, I also screamed about the possum, but they really just lost their minds. Ooh.
Did the possum look at them and be like,
Yeah, right. Like, girl, I'm just trying to get home myself. Okay.
Exactly. I'm trying to get some trash. Like you are in my way. Chirp, chirp. I don't know. Do possums chirp? I don't think
Oh,
possums make. Do possums make noise?
I'm gonna try really hard to not laugh as hard as I want to laugh right now.
They don't chirp. I think that's maybe they grunt. Okay. Sidebar.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God.
Okay,
Yep.
back to
Yep.
the article.
Woo.
Yes, our very serious Harvard Business Review article. Okay, one of the things that really actually shouted out to me was this one section of the article about how to discern a gut feeling from fear. Like I find that really interesting. So basically, I'm just going to read these two paragraphs because I think they're so interesting. Fear tends to be accompanied by bodily sensations of constricting or minimizing. You can feel tense, panicky, or desperate. It has a pushing energy, as if trying to force something or selecting an option because you want to avoid a threat, rejection, or punishment. It can also be dominated. If you're experiencing fear, you can have a lot of self critical thoughts and that kind of thing. But intuition has a pulling energy, as if your choice is moving you toward your best interest, even if that means pursuing a risk or moving more slowly than others. This is usually accompanied by feelings of excitement and anticipation or ease and contentment. Physically, gut feelings tend to cause your body to relax. With intuition, your inner voice is more grounded and wise, like a good mentor. Love.
Right.
There's not a
Love it so
panic
much.
with intuition. Is that how you felt when you were talking to your, that person about the stressful work situation?
Yes. I definitely have a sense of calm about it. And like I love that. And that is like that is the top bullet point of this article. Like it's broken into these sections, right? Four of them. And I'm so glad that was the first one because I do feel like that I started to question myself. What am I just afraid? I've made a decision about something at work. Am I just afraid? Am I not doing this thing because I'm just afraid? And reading that gave me so much peace because it's just like, no, I feel great about this decision. Like, yeah, it is not, it is I am listening to a mentor voice, not I am listening to my lizard brain that's just like, run, bitch, run. It's very different.
Yes. Yes. Completely. And it's like it speaks to the wisdom of our bodies versus
Yes.
always our minds. Like we actually can listen to our bodies. Our bodies are talking to us. Like this is not every single decision does not need to be a cerebral decision. It's actually like your body knows more than your mind all the time anyway. At least in my opinion, in my experience.
That is a mic drop for sure.
Oof. Okay, one more thing though. This article really
Yes.
is just like really okay. So one of the things that I love that this article mentioned is about like it's something where you can like test like try a snap judgment test so you can rely on rapid cognition. So for example, if you have a choice of something like so for example, you could write on a piece of paper will taking the promotion at my work make me happy and then list yes or no below the question, then leave a pen nearby. After a few hours of writing this down, like just walk away and then come back to the paper and immediately circle the answer that comes to you. Don't think about it, just circle it. And like it might not be the answer that you like, especially if the question is a big one, but there's a good chance that you force yourself to respond honestly when you do the snap judgment test.
I love it.
I love that too. Also, it's so
Yeah.
hard.
It's really hard. It is really hard. I feel like I love the few hours because you're going to do other things. Hopefully, I mean, ideally, you're not just like ruminating on it. You're just like going to do other things. And then you surprise yourself, like, what about this question? Right. Like, you just
Totally.
kind of like jump scare yourself into making a decision.
Yes, and it also makes it makes it feel to me like things are a lot more simple than we make them to be.
Yeah.
Like things don't have to be so fucking complicated. Like they actually can just it's like you don't need to be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
but what about but the thing that the person the blah blah." No. Yes or
Yeah.
no.
Yes or no. And I also, and this is a very woo woo belief that I have, that like when you have made the right choice for yourself, like the road appears under you. Even if it's the hard thing, it usually is the hard thing. I feel like things just have a way of aligning themselves. to like work out. And it might not be awesome all the time, but I feel like when you've made the right choice, I don't know if you've had this experience of like deciding something and just feeling like just the stars, just the people, the things you need, the resources you need just align around you.
Yes, 100%. Like there are so many examples of that in my life. Like, I mean, and it always is the harder choice, pretty much. I mean, almost always. Like, I remember, I mean, this is a deep cut. So, this is many, 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 many podcasts ago, but there was a situation where someone in my life was saying something that bothered me. And my intuition was like, you need to say something. You cannot continue. Like, and the thing is that in my mind, I was like, well, it's okay though, because they're nice and they're good. And like, this is okay. And like, I said something because I couldn't let it go. And it was like I did, and then the road, like you say, like it like appeared beneath me. And
Mhm.
thankfully they did apologize and we're actually close friends. Like it's fine now. We're like, but it was the hardest thing for me to do because my emotion, I was so angry, like circling back to that, like I was so angry and my emotion was my intuition saying like, look, bitch, you need to say something. And I did. And I
Yes.
felt better about it, even though it was intensely uncomfortable, intensely uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh. I think that's something she also talks about in here is like building up your discomfort, building up your tolerance for discomfort.
Yes,
Oh, yeah. I'm working on
totally.
that this year.
Are
It's not,
you?
yeah, it's not going well.
Oh gosh. Maybe it is going well because you don't want like you are you feeling discomfort? Is that part of the experience for you?
Yes, and like discomfort and uncertainty. Those are the two big ones. Like my trip to Florida was for like a fellowship, and I feel like something someone said was like, this program is also about building up your tolerance for uncertainty. There are things you can control or influence, and there's a lot of shit you can't. And you just have to be able to sit with that.
Wow. Oh God, that's like I just like crawling out of my skin, right?
Same. Yuck.
Yuck. I love that though. Like I remember one time, and I know we have to go because we're already over, but like I remember one time I was talking to someone who is older than I am and like a mentor kind of to me. And I was like, well, I have to tell this person this thing. It was a work thing. And I was like, but it's gonna be really disappointing to them if I tell them what I
Mm.
want to say. And she's like, you need to practice disappointing one person per day, Katie. And I was like, oh damn.
Oh my God.
I know, aggressive. And like, and but she's like seriously the nicest person you've ever met in your entire life. And I was like,
Damn.
do you? And she's like, oh no, this is a daily practice for me. And I don't think she's like going out to try to, hurt someone or disappoint someone, but she's like, you need to get comfortable with disappointing people. And I was like, that's so uncomfortable because really what it is it's either me disappoint someone else sometimes. I'm not trying to say it's always binary, but like, or I'm not in integrity with myself and my
Right.
intuition.
Exactly. The self betrayal, like we've talked about.
Totally.
Well, and sometimes, I think disappointment's okay for people to like, you can't do that work for the other person. Like life is full of disappointments. So either you're like good at handling them or you're not. And that's not your job to handle that for somebody else.
Totally. Caretaking. Another podcast.
Mm.
Yeah.
The 2024 list, man. Buckle up, everybody. We got a lot of deep. We're going deep this year.
We're going deep. We're going deep into disappointment daily. Like this is what's happening.
Today's disappointment is brought to you by the store that didn't have the shit you wanted.
Exactly. Exactly. And the person you have to tell the store didn't have the shit you wanted, but also that you didn't really want to go to that store. And so you're just going to disappoint them because your intuition said don't go to that store. Anyway, okay.
Oh, God.
This has been really fun and I can't wait to talk more about this because I actually think this is like such a good topic and I love the idea that like fear is different than intuition. Like that's a new concept to me. I definitely did not ever think about that.
Same. I love that part.
Me too. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening and we'll see y'all next week.